Okay, so if you somehow stumbled your way into this video, then you probably care about nodes in n8n, right? As we spoke about before, nodes are just integrations. They're just all the ways that we can integrate with external services and apps in n8n. So by the end of this video, we're going to be understanding all the different types of nodes, the built-in nodes that exist in n8n, how to use them, and just like a general overview on like how to use them like a pro. By the way, for context, the name is Muzi. I am the Grand Alchemist of the Guild. If you know, you know. Um, my mission is to help 1,000 people make their first $1,000 online with AI and automation, and I just want to teach people like everything I've come to know in all these months that I've been learning, just so that like because I wish I had someone who could teach me like this. Like this is everything that I've been learning, and I hope that you find value in this. Okay, let me stop yapping and just let's just start going through this. So built-in nodes are the pieces that you are going to be using in the game. If you know, you know, right? If you know, you know. Basically, the game is this idea, this construct of what is happening right now in the online space, right? Everyone is somehow finding a way to put their face on YouTube or on any social platform. Everyone is trying to make sure that they are spreading the ideas as far as they possibly can. Um, all of this is intentional, and I think that people who do this are playing the game to an extent, but I think people who automate systems that do these things are playing the game at an even higher level. That's why I love automation so much. It's because um, anything that any team can do, I can do all by myself by just building a system once and then letting it run all the time, 24/7. So that is just my strategy for playing the game, the social game, the online game, is by using automation. And I think that if you apply these kinds of ideas, you're going to be getting a ton of results in your own business. So let's talk about the simplest nodes that you ever find, or the main nodes that you probably should be thinking about every single time. It's the trigger nodes. Remember how we learned about sort of how to think about workflows? It's triggers, it's steps, actions, outputs, and any recursions or like loops. You should just be considering everything just like that. And triggers are the first step of everything. They're how you start your workflows. Um, you don't want to constantly have to start the workflow yourself, otherwise, it's not an automation, right? You just because then you are the one who's like constantly manually doing things. So yeah, triggers are basically things that listen for something to happen, right? So think about if an email arrives, there's a trigger for that. If a form gets submitted on a website, right? Someone just signed up for your course or your product, there's a trigger for that. If a user is scrolling through and they are looking for a product, and then they click a button on your page to go see something or go do something, there's a trigger for that. Um, if data gets received by a webhook that you have somewhere online, you can link that to an automation. There's a trigger for that. Action nodes are the same kind of node, but they are actually nodes that do actions. Right? It's literally just self-explanatory, and they respond. So they take in any input data, and then they respond by doing things to that data, or in response to that data, basically. They send messages, they create rows in spreadsheets, they do transformations of data, they update databases, things like that. Let me just show you. This is a simple workflow. We've been dealing with this workflow for so long. Like, if you've been following along, then you're probably tired of this workflow. You're like, God damn it, can't you just show me a different kind of workflow? I love this because it exemplifies everything. And again, we're going to be dealing with like way more complex things. We've done, like I've dealt with way more complex things on my channel, like video generation, image generation, content generation, just on a general sort of basis. And if you're interested in that, you could go watch that. There's like tons of videos, but here this is like something that I just wanted to show you. because it's basically everything that's involved in a workflow, right? It's the trigger and the steps and the outputs. And this time there aren't really any recursions, but yeah. So this is a type of trigger called the Google Sheets trigger, and it's going to wait until there's a new row added, right? That is the trigger on row added. There are obviously other options here, like row updated or row added or updated. Um, and depending on like how you um, sort of set it up, you will get data based on that condition. So this is something very important to consider when it comes to triggers. You want to set the poll, so like when, like how often should it check for new entries. Let me just show you all these different triggers to find a trigger. So this one has been set to take in, so like to sort of request any new entries every minute. To find triggers, what you can do here is you can just go and search trigger, and it's going to show you all the types of triggers that exist, which is like a lot when you think about it. So for my own trigger, Eventbrite trigger, actually this isn't even all of them when you think about it. If we get rid of this and then we come here, and we're gonna see everything. So um, on app event, most sort of um, most sort of integrations have triggers for them. Like Airtable has a trigger on new Airtable event. Agile has a trigger on a schedule or on a webhook call. Um, like most sort of integrations have, if like they have ways to um, trigger workflows from them, or if there's anything that happens, which is like it gives you really powerful functionality if you're building on top of these apps. And you can just connect a workflow on the back end that does something really cool, like this, right? What this workflow does is it grabs any new entries in a Google Sheet. It checks if we've contacted them before, and if we haven't contacted them, it sends them an email saying, "Hey, we understand you got in contact with us. Thank you for doing that, and we'll see you. Like we'll get to you as soon as possible." And then we also update the information in that Google Sheet again, just to show that we've already contacted them. And of course, like when I was building this out, like in like a few minutes, I told you that there are ways to like expand this, where you could even deal with this false branch, where you could check, like you could have a field in your Google Sheet, a hidden field, of course, that is checking like how long ago did we contact these people, and should we follow up on them. So if it's time to follow up on them, then you might actually need to do that. And then after you follow up, you don't have to follow up anymore. Everything can be automated. Like this is nothing more than a lead nurturing kind of system, which is like really, yeah, it's really simple, but like it just shows you just how powerful this is. If you had an employee working at this, it would take maybe 30 minutes, but you don't even have to be around to do this, because everything has just been set up like perfectly for you. So yeah, those are trigger nodes, and then this is an action node because it does something, right? It integrates with Gmail, and then it sends the email to the person who just signed up on our websites. And yeah, trigger nodes and action nodes are the main way you're going to be doing anything in n8n. So let's keep it going. So they're also core nodes. So these are the built-in nodes of n8n, right? They are officially supported and they are regularly updated, and they are reliable across versions. So these are the nodes that actually sort of like um, they do really interesting things, like the webhook node. So it allows you to connect certain things. Basically, when you set up a webhook, what you're setting up is it has some kind of webhook URL. You take that URL and then you put it somewhere, maybe online, so on a button. And then when someone clicks that button, you can format a message to the webhook so that it sends data to the webhook, and then it starts a workflow with that data. So maybe with that user's information, so whoever's clicking that button and so on and so forth. Snack nodes as well. The core nodes, you can find them in that place, right? It's the um, node library, or the node panel, I guess you would say. And yeah, to show it, you can just click on the tab button over here. You can search for whatever you want. Trello, there's a bunch of them. So yeah, let's keep it going. There are cluster nodes as well. So cluster nodes are something really interesting that is happening recently, and these are nodes that have complex logic built into them in simple containers. Um, like a famous node recently is the AI agent node in n8n that make tried copying, and I think to an extent they failed to copy because it's just way too complex the way they set it up. But because like you don't have everything sort of on one page, like you have to set up all these different other flows and then connect them, like because okay, they want everything to look simple when you're building it, but it's never actually that simple. I mean, and if there are any errors that happen, it's like it's a nightmare to set up. So like the n8n AI agent node is still the best node. That's how I feel. So yeah, you can do a bunch of things with the AI agent node. You can plan tasks, you can choose tools, you can execute operations, and it understand that it reduces multiple nodes into one, meaning that inside that AI agent node, let me just show you. So again, I'll click on tab here, and I could go into advanced AI here, or I could just say agents over here, and then boom. So inside this AI agent node, okay, this one is connected to a chat trigger, meaning that I can communicate with the node through chat. But yeah, inside this AI agent node, there are maybe a bunch of sort of integrations and sort of like, in order for this to be able to actually correctly do what it needs to do, it has to be an internal workflow all by itself. So this AI agent node, the way you'll see right now, is just a simplification. But the nice thing about the n8n agent node is the fact that you can connect your chat model here. So whether you're using OpenAI's GPT model or using Gemini or something, you can connect your memory here. So because when you're chatting with it, you want it to have a memory for like whatever you guys have spoken about previously, and this can be some kind of SQL or some kind of maybe like a database like Supabase or something. And then you can connect tools. So these could be anything that the agent uses to give you the correct output. Like it could connect to services. It could connect to a workflow that you have on your system already. This is really, really powerful no matter how you think about it. And that's just why it's so necessary. Like it saves you time, it simplifies your workflows, and it lets you sort of relax while everything is getting handled. There are also credential nodes. So credential nodes, they securely connect n8n workflows to apps, basically. And this is sort of like if you want to connect to Google, you'll do it through OAuth. If you want to connect to OpenAI, you're probably going to be needing something like API keys. And you have tokens for custom APIs, right? Everything is encrypted, everything is reusable, and when you have multiple workflows, you can use the same set securely. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. So this is a type of node that uses a credential for a Gmail account. But say hypothetically you want to access a service that doesn't really exist here. So I'll give you an example of this. This is something I was dealing with recently. So say hypothetically I want to do something with YouTube. So I don't want to do playlist actions um, or playlist items or getting many videos, getting many video categories. What I want to do is I want to search YouTube for maybe like a certain channel, say hypothetically. This only has fields for the channel ID, and I don't know what channel ID I'm searching for, which means I have to do something before this. So I have to do this through HTTP request. So I can just add that code by right clicking on the canvas itself and then just adding the node. It's going to be HTTP. Again, there are many ways of opening up this sidebar, this node panel. So here, I would probably be using some kind of GET request to YouTube. Um, it's probably going to be some kind of, yeah, something, some kind of endpoint like channels. And The authentication here, what I'm going to be doing is using a predefined credential type. And I'm going to have to scroll all the way down and find YouTube here. Oh, zero. YouTube OAuth API. And yeah, it's going to autofill the OAuth API credential. And then I can start sending query parameters like the part. So I can say, hey, give me the statistics for the channels as well. And also give me the snippet, which is channel information. So like the name of the channel when it was created and so on and so forth. Um, I'm probably going to be sending more information as well, like maybe I don't want like I want you to sort them by relevance, right? You don't have this functionality in the native YouTube get channel node, right? You because the get channel requires you to know the actual channel, right? But if you don't know the channel ID, then you're cooked because look, like you're already getting an error here. Channel ID is a required parameter, but if you don't have that, you're going to have to use an HTTP request with that same YouTube credential that you're using um, to get those results that you actually want. Okay, so let's wrap up. So trigger nodes are nodes that listen for events and then they start workflows. Right? So imagine something happens out there in the internet. You have a node connected to that platform. You're listening to an event, and whenever that happens, this node has an internal polling time. So it has a time. You could set this time to anything, minutes, hours. It doesn't really matter. But it will activate if there was ever an event. It will activate with any changes that happen, and it will start workflows for you. Action nodes are nodes that respond and do things in a workflow. So action nodes normally have two sort of node connections that you can add to them. So you can add an in and like an input connection and an output connection because they normally have some kind of internal logic where they do things with the information that they get. They act on any data that they get, either inside themselves with their own internal logic or by connecting to services out there. Core nodes are pre-built nodes in n8n, and these are the ones that actually come in. So like when you update n8n, these are the ones that help you do really cool things like we just spoke about. There's the YouTube node, there's HTTP request nodes, there's webhook nodes. Cluster nodes are simplifications of more complex nodes. So you say hypothetically you don't want to create your own kind of like LLM chain where you keep where you're trying to build some kind of agent. You can just use a whole agent node which has that already built in. And then nodes with credentials, they help you securely connect to apps and services in the simplest way possible. So I'm sure you're ready to dive deeper. I know I am. Next time we're going to be dealing with core nodes, what they are, and some famous examples of them. I'll see you there. Welcome.